Minutes are underway. They know it's gonna be a long one here tonight. And now Cesaro, look at this. He's got the legs. He's got the legs of Daniel Bryan, and now he could be going for it. The sharpshooter. He's got it locked in, and Bryan taps. Bryan taps out. And Daniel Bryan now. Oh man! The DDT. Right onto those solid steel steps. The World Heavyweight Champion is out cold here, and the referee is going to award that fall to Daniel Bryan. But Cesaro fighting to his feet, and now Cesaro, the neutralizer off the top rope. And Cesaro has tied it up again. They're running out of time. 20 seconds now. 15. Cesaro looking for the neutralizer. Bryan though, the kick. The heavy kick there. The kick. But now he's got the cover. Time's running out. But he's got the cover on Cesaro. And Daniel Bryan takes the lead. Daniel Bryan wins. 3 falls to 2. Daniel Bryan is your new World Heavyweight Champion. And oh my god, no, Seth Rollins, that bastard who turned on Finn Balor earlier in the night, but he's got that Money in the Bank contract. There's Finn Balor. Daniel Bryan. The Psycho knee lays out Mr. Money in the Bank. Welcome everyone to PTW Breakdown episode 19. Following PTW Iron Man, we have a new World Heavyweight Champion in Daniel Bryan, and he is set to defend that World Heavyweight Championship here tonight. And we don't know his opponent yet, but rumors are swirling around the locker room and the office backstage. But we do still have an excellent card planned. This grudge match between Umaga and Rob Van Dam. Their rivalry finally comes to a head here tonight. And then the highly anticipated debut of Ember Moon as she goes one-on-one with Carmella. And then we also have fatal four-way action here tonight. Goldust, Keith Lee, Wade Barrett, and Jake Hager. That'll surely be a competitive matchup later on. But now, we're gonna kick things off with our new World Heavyweight Champion, Daniel Bryan. And Daniel Bryan certainly has undergone a change of perception from before PTW Iron Man to now. Because now I'm sure you can hear the reaction from the crowd. It is a lot more positive. Daniel Bryan, he went to war with Cesaro in that Iron Man match, and if there's one thing these fans respect, it is that fighting spirit, putting everything on the line, and that's exactly what Daniel Bryan did, pushing aside the dirty tactics and fighting to see who was the better man. And he's got that World Heavyweight Championship now as a reward. Well, the decision has been made, maybe in unconventional fashion with a coin flip, but tonight it'll be Daniel Bryan defending his newly won title against the Scottish Warrior Drew McIntyre of the Heenan family. This is a huge opportunity for McIntyre and a huge match for tonight's main event. Randy Orton, I don't think he looks too happy about it, but it is official now. In tonight's main event, Daniel Bryan puts the World Heavyweight title on the line against Drew McIntyre. That's a match I'm very excited for, but now I'm being told in my ear we got something going on backstage. We got something going on in the parking lot area here, as now the camera's finding it. It's Finn Balor and Seth Rollins, and these two, they're going at it. And these two, you know, they're pissed off at each other after what happened at PTW Iron Man. Seth Rollins turning his back on Finn Balor, and now the locker room out there trying to separate these two, pull them apart here. But now here comes Balor, going right after Rollins. The Prince of PTW is fired up, really wanting to get his hands on Mr. Money in the Bank. These two being pulled apart by the locker room here, as now trying to restrain Finn Balor on that car. They're trying to hold him back, stop him from fighting against Seth Rollins. They're trying to hold these two back, keep them apart here. But here comes Rollins! Curb stomp! Right through the windshield of that car! I don't know whose car that is. But oh my god, we gotta get people to check on Finn Balor here. He is not moving one bit. A curb stomp from Seth Rollins, putting him right through the windshield. And Balor now, Santana and Ortiz, some of the locker room trying to check on Balor. But oh my goodness, Seth Rollins just put him right through that windshield. That son of a bitch, Seth Rollins. And Balor being checked on now. But I hope Seth Rollins is severely punished for that. But now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our first match of the evening. It is Umaga and Rob Van Dam. And here is Rob Van Dam coming down to the ring. I'll try to get an update on the condition of Finn Balor later on as the night goes on, but now Rob Van Dam coming out here, and we know this is a big match for RVD, considering his rivalry with Umaga. Ever since Umaga debuted on Breakdown, he has gone after Rob Van Dam, and Rob Van Dam has not backed down from the challenge. But now tonight, he finally gets the Samoan Bulldozer one-on-one. But Umaga has looked unstoppable thus far on Breakdown. But Rob Van Dam surely his toughest challenge yet. As here is that man, the Samoan Bulldozer, Umaga. Just pure strength and brute force on that man. He has been purely dominant ever since debuting, destroying the likes of RVD, Evan Bourne, Goldust. Umaga has been unstoppable thus far on Breakdown. But can Rob Van Dam be the one to beat him here tonight? We shall see. These two, they've got their hands on each other attacking before, but now it is finally one-on-one, Umaga and Rob Van Dam. And now this matchup set to get underway. These two staring each other down. They know how much they want to beat each other here tonight. And Rob Van Dam swings first, and now look at Van Dam firing off with the strikes and the kicks. Rob Van Dam, that quick offense, and now going right after Umaga. Umaga though turns around the Irish whip, and now Umaga just tossing RVD into the air like it's nothing. And that again, just the raw explosiveness of Umaga on display. And that was a long fall to the mat from RVD. Umaga now picking him up and sending him right in the corner here. And now Umaga, those body shots there, those punches to Rob Van Dam, just wearing him down here tonight. And now Umaga, he lets out that yell, and now he's gonna follow it up with the massive hip attack in the corner. Big hip attack there from Umaga. It's not enough as Rob Van Dam kicks out, but the Samoan certainly doing damage here tonight. As Rob Van Dam already struggling early on in this matchup, it just takes a few big shots from Umaga to completely change the tide. And now picking up Rob Van Dam and just tossing him to the outside through that second rope. But Umaga, he is hell-bent on destruction here on Breakdown. No remorse behind his eyes. He wants to inflict punishment on every superstar he comes across. And now just sending Van Dam right into that apron. And now Umaga, what's he thinking about here? Umaga clearing off those steel steps. And Umaga now, what is going through his mind? He's got Rob Van Dam here. Could be looking for some sort of Uranage on the steps here. But Van Dam though fighting back with the elbows. He avoids that one. And now Van Dam trying to recuperate up on the ring apron. And Van Dam with that penalty kick right there. That boot to Umaga. And now Rob Van Dam, we're gonna fly! The Acai moonsault from Rob Van Dam takes out Umaga on the outside. Umaga, we have seen it, he is dominant, but he is not invincible, as Rob Van Dam takes him down, and now you know he's got to capitalize on this moment. Van Dam bringing him back into the ring here, as Umaga still trying to recover, but Rob Van Dam, that basement dropkick there, and Rob Van Dam, the high flyer, looking for the rolling thunder here. He's calling for it. Rob Van Dam. Here comes some rolling thunder, but Umaga caught him out with the Samoan drop. The cover now. RVD kicks out. Well, just as I said there, it only takes one big move from Umaga. That huge Samoan drop completely changing the landscape of this matchup now. And now here comes Umaga. Another hip attack there. And the Samoan bulldozer now. He's got Rob Van Dam on that apron, picking him up here. But now Van Dam fighting back. Spiking him on that top rope. And now Van Dam comes off the top with the springboard kick there. And that lays out Umaga. And now Rob Van Dam, he's going to try for it again. Again now, Van Dam, the rolling thunder. This time he connects. 1, 2. But Umaga kicks out. Rob Van Dam, though, he's got Umaga down. And he knows this could be his time. Van Dam looking to climb up onto the top rope. Could be looking for that 5-star frog splash. But Umaga, though, he's already back on his feet. And now connects with that kick. And now Umaga, the headbutt to Rob Van Dam. Umaga quickly recovering there. And Van Dam didn't have time to hit that frog splash, but now Umaga, he's certainly got time to hit this. Lining up Rob Van Dam here. And Umaga is calling for it now, the super kick. Massive super kick from Umaga. And Umaga, he puts all that weight behind that kick and just flattens RVD. And now this could be the beginning of the end for Rob Van Dam. Umaga's got him. Could be looking for the Samoan spike here. Van Dam though avoids it. And the spinning heel kick. Spinning heel kick from Van Dam. And now RVD has found a sign of life here in this matchup. And now could be looking for it once again. Could be trying to go for that 5-star frog splash. Umaga is down. And Van Dam now looking to climb. This will be a huge win for Van Dam. The 5-star frog splash, but nobody home. Nobody home. Umaga just rolls out of the way. And Rob Van Dam just belly flops on the hard canvas there. And now Umaga back to his feet here. And now here he comes. Clotheslining RVD right over the top rope to the outside. Umaga now has things firmly in control once again. And now going after Van Dam on the outside. And now Umaga, what's he looking for here? He's going back to those exposed steel steps. He's got Van Dam again. He couldn't hit it earlier, but now Umaga, the Uranagi, right onto those steel steps. And Rob Van Dam could be completely out of it after that. Umaga just laid out Rob Van Dam. And Van Dam now barely moving as Umaga now gonna bring him back into the ring. And the Samoan Bulldozer looking to secure another win here. He's got Rob Van Dam now. And now Umaga, the Samoan Spike.
1, 2, 3.
And it is another victory for Umaga. Rob Van Dam put up one hell of a fight. More of a fight against Umaga than I've seen from anybody thus far. But it was not enough. Umaga, that Uranagi onto the steel steps. And again, that Samoan Spike. And that put an end to this matchup and all Rob Van Dam's hopes here tonight. A great effort, a valiant effort, but not enough to topple the Samoan Bulldozer Umaga. And Umaga earning another big victory. He looks unstoppable here on Breakdown. Wow, what an announcement there from Edge! Ultimate X at Ignorance No Bliss for the Intercontinental Championship. And we're about to witness our first qualifying match up next. As here is one member of the Heenan family, Wade Barrett. And now that we know the stakes of this matchup, a win means all the more for Barrett and the Heenan family, because it means he will be in that Ultimate X match to protect the Intercontinental Champion Andrade. Of course, Ultimate X, for those who don't know, it's 4 men and it's essentially a ladder match with no ladders, with a title suspended above the ring. And all these men will look to qualify here tonight, including this man, Jake Hager, accompanied to the ring by Damian Sandow. Now Hager does have an interesting MMA and Olympic-style wrestling background, so he could be pretty interesting in an Ultimate X type of matchup. if he can qualify here tonight. Of course, he would have to get through Wade Barrett and the other participants in this matchup, including this man, the bizarre one, Goldust. Goldust, I mean, he may not even remember it, but he does have some scores to settle with the Heenan family, considering they're the ones who gave him that concussion and caused Dustin Rhodes to, well, lose his mind, frankly. But now, of course, he refers to himself as Goldust. Gets all dressed up in that gold face paint. But, of course, still a talented wrestler under all that delirium. But here is another talented wrestler, and if I had to pick a favorite in this matchup, it would be this man, the limitless one, Keith Lee. And we already know Keith Lee has got a score to settle with Andrade and the Heenan family. They've had their run-ins in the past, and Keith Lee at PTW Iron Man was a big equalizer in that matchup. When Wade Barrett and Andrade tried to interfere to help out the Heenan family, it was Keith Lee who came to even the odds. And you know Keith Lee feels like becoming Intercontinental Champion would be a big step in his career. And this qualifying match for Ultimate X could be the way each of these men get there. But now, the first Ultimate X qualifier gonna get underway here tonight, and these men not wasting any time. Jake Hager and Goldust going after each other here as Hager sending the bizarre one over the top rope to the outside. Jake Hager making early work of Goldust there, and meanwhile Wade Barrett and Keith Lee, they're going at it. Lee sending Barrett into the corner. And now, here comes Keith Lee, but runs right into that boot from Wade Barrett. And plenty of animosity there between them as Hager and Goldust still going at it on the outside. But Barrett came off the top there, right into that Mongolian chop from Keith Lee. Right to the chest of Wade Barrett. And that is gonna leave a mark. I wouldn't be surprised if his chest turns red in a few minutes. But now here comes Hager back in the ring. And look at Jake Hager. The power there. Catching out Keith Lee with that belly-to-belly suplex there. And Damian Sandow encouraging Hager from the outside, his pupil, who was not able to defeat Keith Lee the last time they fought. But now Hager trying to work over Lee with the headlock right there. Keith Lee, a big back body drop there. And Keith Lee, he made short work of Hager last time, and we're going to do so again here tonight as Keith Lee with the big crossbody. And now in for the cover. Wade Barrett breaks it up though. And that's the thing about these Fatal 4-Ways. And what will be a Fatal 4-Way at Ultimate X, you've got to have eyes in the back of your head. As now we get Wade Barrett just stomping away at Keith Lee. He knows Keith Lee is the biggest threat. And now look at this. An interesting alliance here as Wade Barrett and Jake Hager both stomping away at Keith Lee. Trying to take the Limitless one out of the equation here in this matchup. Working together. But now, Jake Hager picking up Keith Lee here. And now, again the alliance here as they send Lee off the ropes. But now Keith Lee runs right through the both of them. And look at this! Keith Lee, a springboard crossbody! A man that size should not be able to move like that. But Keith Lee, the crossbody, but now look at this. Here's Goldust. Goldust trying to steal the pinfall. Barrett kicks out there, but now Keith Lee, eye to eye with Goldust, and Goldust. And now Goldust, look at this. He's just going to get out of there. Goldust, he wants absolutely nothing to do with Keith Lee. I can't say I blame him. He may be bizarre, but he is smart in that sense. But now here's Jake Hager, the chop block right to the ankle of Keith Lee. Chop block there from Hager, and now he's got him cinched in that ankle lock. The ankle lock from Jake Hager on Keith Lee. Trying to wear him down here. But now look at this Goldust now. Get him back in the ring. And here's Goldust. A big forearm. Breaking up the submission. And now look at this Goldust. Sending Jake Hager to the outside. Those two, they've been going at it this whole matchup. And now Goldust taking out Hager. And now look at this Goldust. Firing up the punches on Wade Barrett. And now Goldust fired up here at the atomic drop. And Goldust, suddenly, the leading man in this matchup, looking for the tornado DDT. But Barrett, though, pushes out of it with that big boot. And Wade Barrett puts a stop to the momentum from Goldust there. And now, Barrett, the bare knuckle brawler, looking to secure a win for the Heenan family. He's got Goldust looking for the wasteland, but oh, there's Keith Lee. And Keith Lee now, holding up both men on his shoulders. Wade Barrett and Goldust lifted up, looking for a big bang catastrophe here. Goldust gets out of it, and Barrett as well, and now Wade Barrett. Now the bull hammer elbow from Wade Barrett, and Barrett could secure his spot in Ultimate Action in for the cover, but oh, Damien Sandow now dragging Keith Lee to the ropes there. He knows if Barrett gets that cover, Jake Hager won't be going to Ultimate X. And he cost Barrett, but now here's Goldust rolling him up. Could have him here. No, Barrett kicks out. But now Goldust has got him. Final cut. Goldust to go to Ultimate X here. No, he's pulled off. And Jake Hager now with the ankle lock. The ankle lock locked in on Goldust. And this could be the biggest win in the career of Jake Hager. He's got the ankle lock cinched in. Goldust has nowhere to go. No rope breaks. But now on the outside, Keith Lee fighting back against Damien Sandow. Goldust trying to hang on here. But now here's Keith Lee. Keith Lee now. He's got Jake Hager. He's got him up on the shoulders. The Spirit Bomb. Spirit Bomb to Hager, onto Goldust, and Keith Lee is going to Ultimate X. A massive win there for Keith Lee, as now he earns a spot in Ultimate X. There will be 2 other men involved in that matchup, but now we know Keith Lee and Andrade in Ultimate X, and Keith Lee gets a shot at the Intercontinental Championship at Ignorance No Bliss. A fun back and forth matchup there. There were times I thought each man had a chance to win it, but in the end it was the limitless one, Keith Lee, and he has limitless opportunities in a match like Ultimate X. The Heenan family not making any friends on the road to Ultimate X. But up next we have a very exciting debut. It is Ember Moon making her PTW debut against Carmella. Now I am very excited to see this matchup here. Ember Moon has been a hyped up prospect here in PTW. We've seen the vignettes building and building for weeks. And then of course we saw her in attendance in the crowd at PTW Iron Man, where she had a bit of a stare down with Asuka and Chyna in the Women's Championship match. And I'd selfishly like to see Ember Moon going up against both those women. But of course you do have to earn your spot here in PTW. And she's going to have to do that tonight against Carmella. But now you see the Princess of Staten Island not alone out here tonight. She said she wanted some protection for this match. And she has enrolled the Awesome Truth, The Miz, and R-Truth to stand by her side in this matchup. Of course, going up against Ember Moon. And then there's the rumors of Bayley and Britt Baker possibly making an appearance. We know that they have a bit of an alliance, and they talked about coming down here to Breakdown to ensure that Bayley stays as the #1 contender for the women's title. And so Carmella, with all the chaos going on in the women's division, I guess she has enrolled the help of the Awesome Truth. And they'll be ringside for this matchup tonight. But knowing them, they will likely play a role and get involved here. I just hope we can have a clean fight and a clean debut for Ember Moon. As now Ember and Carmella. And Ember Moon going right after Carmella with the punches in there. The rolling elbow, sending Carmella right to the ropes there. And the Awesome Truth looking on from ringside now, as Carmella trying to regain some composure after that opening exchange. But now Carmella kicking the midsection and sending Ember Moon into the corner. Great response there from Carmella. But now look at this, the Awesome Truth grabbing the legs of Moon, and now Carmella with the back elbow. And just as I thought, the Awesome Truth helping out Carmella in this match. I'm not sure if they're here for protection or if they're just here to help Carmella get the win. But some dirty tactics being employed there, as Carmella now with the upper hand on Ember Moon. Carmella now has got her up, and now that foot right to the face in the corner there. And now going up on the second rope. And now, look at this, Carmella! That head scissors takedown off the top rope there. Big move from Carmella. And now she's got Ember Moon right where she wants her here. But now Ember Moon though fighting back, goes for the kick. And now Ember Moon, the Hurricanrana, inventive offense there. And now kicks from Ember Moon there. And now she's got Carmella in the butterfly suplex. Moon now into the cover. Carmella kicks out. But there you see the creative offense of Ember Moon on display. And it's moves like that are why PTW signed her and brought her on to this women's division. But now she's got Carmella. We'll see what she can do here, sending her off the ropes. And now Ember Moon, that big knee strike. And now sending Carmella right over the top to the outside. Ember Moon now certainly impressing in this debut, as now the Awesome Truth trying to tend to the Princess of Staten Island on the outside. Truth and the Miz trying to help out Carmella here. But now Ember Moon, she's looking to fly now. Here comes Ember Moon. But now look at this, the Awesome Truth standing right in the way. Miz and R-Truth blocking Ember Moon from hitting a dive on the Carmella on the outside. She may have been going for the suicide dive there, but now she can't hit it. That's got to be frustrating for Ember Moon. But Ember Moon taking out her frustrations with a drop kick to the Awesome Truth, taking out both men. And Carmella now, she's all alone here as now Ember Moon finally getting her hands on Carmella on the outside, bringing her back into the ring here after taking out the Awesome Truth. Miz and R-Truth now laid out. It's now finally one-on-one here as Ember Moon now trying to pick up Carmella, but Carmella the super kick out of nowhere, and the cover. Ember Moon kicks out. Carmella can't believe it. She almost pulled off the shocking victory there over Ember Moon with that super kick. But now, Carmella's got to be looking to put this matchup away. Now she's got Ember Moon, could be looking for the Mela Buster here. But now Ember Moon driving her right into the corner there. Ember Moon fighting back. And now look at this, Ember going up on the second rope. And Ember Moon, that second rope code breaker there. Big move from Ember Moon, and now could be looking to finish it off here as the Awesome Truth recovering, but they may not want to get involved anymore. But now Ember Moon climbing up on the top rope, and this move, it's a thing of beauty. The Eclipse! The Eclipse from Ember Moon there, and the cover.
2, 3.
And Ember Moon wins in her debut here tonight. The Awesome Truth tried to get involved to help Carmella win this matchup, but Ember Moon certainly straightened them out and defeated Carmella with the Eclipse there. Well, now wait a minute, up on the stage there is Bayley and Britt Baker, and they said on Brutality they would be watching this matchup closely as Bayley feels she is deserving of a women's title shot and could be looking to take out the competition here. Ember Moon all alone in the ring now with Britt Baker and Bayley, but now here's some reinforcements. The PTW Women's Champion Asuka. Asuka coming to the aid of Ember Moon against her rivals Bayley and Britt Baker. This new alliance tried to get the attack on Ember Moon there, but Asuka coming to Ember Moon's defense. Edge has been a busy man here tonight, as now Kane is going to be part of the Ultimate X qualifiers. But we get a look at next episode. An Ultimate X qualifier, Frankie Kazarian, Apollo Crews, Samoa Joe, and Baron Corbin all looking to earn a spot. And then this one as well. R-Truth, RVD, Kane, and Evan Bourne all battling for a spot in Ultimate X. And then this matchup just made official. Women's tag team action. Asuka and Ember Moon team up against Bayley and Britt Baker. But now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for our main event. The World Heavyweight Championship on the line. Daniel Bryan against Drew McIntyre. A huge matchup here. And a huge opportunity for this man, Drew McIntyre. He earned a spot in this matchup by way of a coin flip. But don't let that fool you, the Scottish Warrior. A very dominant athlete, as he showed in the past with the Heenan family. And they showed it at PTW Iron Man when, despite the betrayal from Seth Rollins, McIntyre and Orton did defeat Seth Rollins and Finn Balor, and therefore earning this opportunity for the World Heavyweight title. As McIntyre, a big matchup here. I would hate to see the biggest title on this show held by the Heenan family, knowing all the chaos they've caused. But now here is the World Heavyweight Champion Daniel Bryan, and defending this title so soon after PTW Iron Man, where he went through 30 minutes of hell with the former champion Cesaro. You have to believe, despite what he says, Daniel Bryan may not be 100% going into this matchup. He's still likely nursing the wounds from PTW Iron Man. Then again, McIntyre also went through a lot at PTW Iron Man. He went through a table in his matchup. So both these men nursing wounds, but looking to put it all on the line here tonight for the World Heavyweight title. Will Daniel Bryan defend his title for the first time, or will Drew McIntyre take the biggest prize hostage with the Heenan family? We shall see here in tonight's main event, Daniel Bryan and Drew McIntyre. These two men staring each other down here. Certainly a different matchup in terms of size, as McIntyre just towering over Bryan here, and now he quickly just throws him to the ground. Bryan pops back up onto his feet, but that's just the strength and the size advantage of McIntyre. But now we get Bryan wrenching the arm there, ducks the elbow, and now McIntyre though those clubbing blows right to the back, and now he's got him with the belly-to-belly throw. Drew McIntyre putting the power on display there. We know Daniel Bryan has the edge in terms of the technical stuff, but McIntyre, he is just a super athlete there, as you see with that kip up. And now McIntyre trying to go after Bryan. Now they lock up again. And now here's McIntyre. Those massive chops to the chest, sending Bryan off the ropes here. Bryan, though, he ducks a clothesline there. And now here's Daniel Bryan. Look at this. Crucifix pin on McIntyre. McIntyre kicks out, but now Bryan again, he's got that arm, trying to find a target here, as Daniel Bryan always does. Now wrenching on the arm of McIntyre. McIntyre, though, punches out of it there. Now back on his feet as McIntyre the elbow. But now Bryan, though, drop toe hold, and again the arm, those knees right to the shoulder area from Daniel Bryan. But now McIntyre throws him off. The boot there, and now McIntyre, those punches right to the midsection and sending Bryan right into the corner. And now Drew McIntyre trying to put the World Heavyweight Champion on the back foot, but now Bryan sends him into the corner, and Daniel Bryan fighting back with those kicks right to the gut of McIntyre. And now here comes the champion. The dropkick in the corner and the cover.
1, 2.
McIntyre gets the shoulder up there. But Daniel Bryan, he knows he's got that speed over McIntyre and that technical submission ability. Gonna try to put every bit of it to good use here tonight. As now Bryan has got McIntyre looking for the butterfly suplex, but McIntyre now has him up on the shoulders and just hangs him up on that top rope. And those ropes, they may look bouncy, but if you land on them like that, it's gonna hurt. As Daniel Bryan now clutching the midsection there is McIntyre. The big boot sending the champion to the outside. McIntyre now taking the upper hand in this matchup. And now going to the outside, going right after Daniel Bryan. McIntyre now just spiking him on the ring apron there. He has not been in PTW as long as some others in the Heenan family, but he has got a lot of talent here. But now Daniel Bryan, the low drop kick there. Drop kick right to the legs of McIntyre. Cutting his legs out from under him that time, sending him to the outside. And now Bryan picking this opportunity, finding his spot here against the Scottish Warrior. Now he's got McIntyre right where he wants him, and here comes Bryan. Suicide dive to the outside. Big move there from the World Heavyweight Champion. At one point, Daniel Bryan refused the high-flying moves, but there it just goes to show how much he has changed since then. Now Daniel Bryan embraced by the fans and embracing every move he can to gain an advantage against Drew McIntyre. As he brings McIntyre back into the ring now, Daniel Bryan has him lined up now with those yes kicks right to the chest of Drew McIntyre. Look at the big one now. McIntyre ducks underneath though, and now McIntyre, look at the strength, picking him up the electric chair position, and McIntyre, the reverse Alabama slam, just flattens the World Heavyweight Champion. And Drew McIntyre looking to bring that title home to the Heenan family. As now picking up Bryan, he's got him, and the Future Shock DDT. That could be it for McIntyre here. Bryan kicks out. Daniel Bryan, he's gonna use all the fight he's got in him here tonight, and McIntyre is surely working the champion to the bone here. Drew McIntyre now picking up Bryan. He's scooping him up again, looking for another reverse Alabama slam, but this time Bryan rolls through, and Daniel Bryan, the kick to the back of the head. Big move from the champion there, and McIntyre is down. Bobby Heenan looking on here as Daniel Bryan is going to climb up onto the top rope. And now Bryan, the flying headbutt. Flying headbutt from Daniel Bryan.
2.
McIntyre stays alive, but a big move there from the champion. It's got the crowd fired up. And now Bryan now again, he's got McIntyre and those elbows right to the shoulder. He's been targeting that arm and now looking for the lapel lock. Trying for it here. Can he lock it in? Trying to get the submission on McIntyre. McIntyre though, getting back to his feet, pushing Bryan away, and the Glasgow kiss, followed up with a spine buster. Big sequence there as McIntyre just avoids the lapel lock. And you know if Bryan locks that in, it could be game over. But now look at this. Bobby Heenan shouting the advice for Drew McIntyre, barking the orders, and now telling him to go for it all. McIntyre listening to his mentor, and now sizing up Daniel Bryan in the corner. Could be signaling for the Claymore kick. Drew McIntyre could become World Heavyweight Champion right here. Bobby Heenan egging him on. McIntyre the Claymore, but Bryan avoids it. Bryan gets out of the way, and now into the corner. Bryan backflips to his feet, and Daniel Bryan takes down McIntyre there. The World Heavyweight Champion still has fight left in him, as he fires back on Drew McIntyre. And now Daniel Bryan. McIntyre is down, and Bryan looking to climb up again on that top rope. But now McIntyre up on his feet. But here comes Bryan. The missile drop kick. Missile drop kick from the champion. Takes out the hungry challenger. A big move there from Daniel Bryan. He is putting it all on the line here tonight. Even after a 30-minute Iron Man match, Daniel Bryan fighting with everything he has, and now looking for the Psycho knee. Bryan looking to retain his title here tonight, lining up Drew McIntyre for the Psycho knee, but a Claymore! Claymore from McIntyre! Claymore from McIntyre! Heenan jumping for joy! This could be the moment for Drew McIntyre! McIntyre could take the title hostage for the Heenan family! No! Daniel Bryan stays alive! And I know I'm not supposed to be biased on commentary, but I am a bit happy that McIntyre and the Heenan family didn't win the title right there. Bobby Heenan not happy about it. But now look at this. Daniel Bryan still laid out. Meanwhile, Drew McIntyre up on his feet. He still looks fresh as a daisy. And now McIntyre sizing him up again for another Claymore. And this would surely end it. McIntyre looking for the Claymore, but the Psycho knee! Psycho knee for Bryan. He caught McIntyre right back there. And now Bryan locking in the lapel lock. The lapel lock locked in on Drew McIntyre, the center of the ring. McIntyre's got nowhere to go, nowhere to turn. Bobby Heenan can't believe it. McIntyre, there's nothing he can do, and he has no choice but to tap out. Daniel Bryan retains his World Heavyweight Championship here tonight. It was admittedly a great effort from McIntyre, and I thought he had it with that Claymore kick. But Daniel Bryan, like he has done countless times before, finds that resilience in him to fight back and retain the championship. As now McIntyre back to his feet here, and bit of a stare down here between Bryan and McIntyre. These two eyed Wyatt and McIntyre's extending the hand. Well, this is certainly unexpected. Drew McIntyre of the Heenan family extending the hand to Daniel Bryan. I don't even know if Bobby Heenan knew this was coming. The handshake, but oh! Well, I should have known. A low blow from Drew McIntyre. McIntyre suckered him in there, and Bobby Heenan loves it. Drew McIntyre, the low blow, and now the Claymore. Claymore kick from Drew McIntyre lays out the champion. Well, I should have known that the Heenan family would be sore losers about this one here tonight, unable to capture the World Heavyweight Championship. as Daniel Bryan retains his title, but is laid out with the Claymore kick from Drew McIntyre. Daniel Bryan is down in the middle of the ring, as McIntyre on the outside with Bobby Heenan. Dastardly attack there from McIntyre. Oh no. No, no, no. Not this music. Not this music. Not right now. Not right now. No. No. Seth Rollins, Mr. Money in the Bank, storming down with the briefcase, and he's cashing it in. He is cashing in Money in the Bank. Daniel Bryan can barely move. And the curb stomp.
1, 2, 3.
Seth Rollins is your new World Heavyweight Champion. God damn it. Seth Rollins, he took out Finn Balor earlier in the night. So now Finn Balor could not get involved. And Seth Rollins is our new champion. This dastardly man, this turncoat, all that he's done. And that Money in the Bank contract, and now look at him, spinning around like a jackass with that title. Daniel Bryan, he fought so hard to win that title, to retain that title. And now, this guy, Seth Rollins, gets to come in and pick up the pieces. And he is the new World Heavyweight Champion.